I'll use Nat and Leah as some examples as I go along, because they're perfect examples of really what the program's all about. I think it's probably fair to say when I met you both, to start with, you were both probably doing fairly cardio-dominant programs. I think Nat was saying just this week that you used to get on the bike or just at classes or something like that.
Yeah, you'd find me in the cardio section. There's no chance in hell you'd send me in the weight section with all the boys. Now, step aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just moves us off the equipment. And so that's where they started. But when it came down to the fact that, you know, when you really had to change the bodies, like when you wanted to start doing the competitions, they've both got a competition tomorrow. That's why they're unnaturally tanned. Something like that where you just have to change the body shape to get on stage. There's no like room for error. Then really cardio just fell by the wayside. It just was pretty much predominantly all weights. Up until the last few weeks when you use a bit of cardio just to burn off that last extra couple of kilos, but for 85 to 90% of their program it's just all weights. So they're living proof of really how this type of system works, and they'll be great motivation for you all on the forum to use as an example of what to do. So on the forum, you'll not only be asking questions to me, but Leah's going to have a presence and definitely Nat as well. So help from all three of us. A lot of you will be quite different to what you've done in the past. You just have to lift weight to change your shape. And then as the program continues, you have to lift more weight and more weight and more weight as long as you maintain a great technique. For most females, in my experience, that's quite hard for them to get their head around that. They're convinced that as soon as they do a chest press, they're just going to get massive really fast. And that's just not going to happen. They're going to have to deal with that issue. Leah in particular, because she's doing a fitness comp where you've got to show a high level of muscularity, Leah's still fairly small, by like parent standards, and Leah has some pretty big weights. So it's quite unlikely that anyone is really going to bulk out. One of the main reasons for that is that you just don't have the natural hormone to do that, as in testosterone. Testosterone is essentially what makes the man a man. The higher the test, the lower our body fat, the more muscle we can put on, and probably thankfully, because we like women to be women, you don't have that much testosterone. So it's up against the wall right from the get-go for you to be able to put on muscle. The next one is just dietary habits. Like if I was going to really want to put on muscle, I'd really want to force in extra calories every day. I might be having 500 grams of chicken for a fortnight, and then it's going to go to 600 grams and 700 grams. It's just going to force it in more and more and more. That's the only way the body's going to keep growing. And you don't do that. You won't be following that type of food plan. It'll just be pretty stayed all the way across the 12 weeks. Because it's pretty hard just forcing food in. So that's another big thing. You've got to have the hormones, you've got to force in the calories, and then the other big thing is just that forced development about how hard you can push, which basically comes back to the testosterone again. Are you going to be able to push beyond your limits, to the point where things may go a little bit wrong? You could get little injuries, which is generally what guys have to do to build. So none of those things really will happen with women. So all that's going to happen is you're going to get nice and lean and toned and nice shape. So just really make a good note of that. We want you to push as absolutely as hard as you can with good technique and go up in the weights. Because don't worry about that thing in the back of your head that thinks I'm going to get massive. And sometimes they'll still come up to me, girls will come up to me and they go, oh, but my legs feel huge, they're enormous. And then we'll take their next photos and they look smaller, or maybe they just look like a different shape, but they're definitely not enormous. I think it's just that they feel fuller because there's more blood pumping into them the whole time. It's that illusion that they feel bigger, but they're really not. You probably feel that with your exercises as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You will actually feel the blood in your legs, especially after a leg day. You will feel it. You will feel fuller, but it's in your psyche, and it's that feeling of that blood moving through your body, and that's wonderful. That's really good. That's a really good thing. So allow that to happen. And I mean, you're not going to go and do a leg workout and then go and put a pair of skinny jeans on. Like, don't do that, because you've just done a leg workout, you're full of blood, it is full of blood. So, you know, just...
Unlike guys where we would try to do a big
Yes.
workout
And
and
then
then
you'll
get full of blood.
Yeah.
And then we hit the town. Okay, the main benefit of lifting the heavy weights is that muscle generates heat, gets your core temperature up, which bumps up your metabolic rate, which in turn just burns calories. The higher your metabolic rate, the more calories you're going to burn. So the heavier you push, the more weight you lift, the higher up your metabolic rate is going to be. Okay, so that's the main fundamental thing why most women, when you see them lifting the pink 2 kilo dumbbells, nothing much is going to happen because you just get no metabolic response out of that. Okay, so for change to occur, you need to do something that causes change. You'll keep changing weights up and up and up. All right, so we're going to move on to some of our happy snaps over here. These are our 3 first place achievers so far. Having said that, we've had some wonderful achievers right across the board. Also, if you may know, actually I'll pick on you for a second, Lou. Lou's done some amazing transformations. If you want to quickly grab that one out of the office of Lou, and we'll pass it around while I'm chatting. It's pretty amazing. So that'll be good for everyone's motivation. So let's start with Sarah, who won the very first one. I just want to go over this quickly with sort of what each person did and how they became so successful. Sarah's main thing was definitely food. She started off the challenge saying that she's going to do the exercise, she'll do whatever she needs to do, but she's not going to do the eating. I'm just going to do my own eating, I'm not going to do your silly eating, blah, blah, blah. She'll probably use slightly harsher language than that. Fortunately for her, she said this to Nat and not to me. There's the there. You just pass it around. Look at that. Some good quality stuff there.
Pretty impressive, Lou.
Pretty impressive.
Worked hard.
Yeah, so she said to Nat she wasn't going to change her diet. Nat thankfully convinced her that she has to stick to the eating, and then she got some pretty amazing results. Okay? So the only reason she got those results was that she did the food just so well in the end. So you don't want to fall in the trap, particularly guys, is that they think that just doing a workout is enough. It's not the food, it's all the cliches you hear, 80% is food, 90% of food. It is totally the food. That's what makes the difference at the end of the day. So you can't enter these sort of programs thinking, oh, I'm only going to do this part of it, or I'm only going to do that part of it, because you won't just get slightly better results, you'll probably get no results. You have to do the full program to get the full results.
And I think with the food, like I've heard a lot of comments, and I've spoken to a lot of you who've gone, oh, I'm going away and have at dinner on the weekends. In the end, it's 12 weeks. It's 12 weeks to commit to something for yourselves. It's 12 weeks project. If you're going out for dinner and, you know, there's going to be options. There's things we'll talk about on the forum on how you can actually dodge those sort of things, you know, when you go out for dinner. It's not going to be that hard. So don't look at the meal plan and go, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to stick to this? It's going to be really simple. It's a new way of life. It's a new way of thinking, way you eat. And the more that you think of it as a massive burden or a huge thing, the harder it's going to be. So don't be too worried about the food part, but obviously we're going to try and stick to it as much as possible. It will change everything.
It's like anything in life. If you enter into it with an open mind, you've got a greater chance of success. But if you do really adhere to the food plan, it's just a weight off your shoulders. You know, it's all set. It's saying you don't have to worry about it, and it just makes life easier.
And this time it's written for you.
The next person down there is Mel. I just want to make a note about Mel's big thing is that she won it. She didn't eat fantastic through that round. She had okay, but she wasn't great. Her one was that she just pushed really, really hard in her exercises. So she kind of went above and beyond the other way. She was fortunate that she was a bit leaner to start with in the food sense, but she did push really hard. So it goes to show you've got to eat well, you've got to push hard, you've got to nail one of those things. And then at the end of there, we've got Asley, who just won the last challenge that we just finished. Asley is amazing because her real thing is consistency. That was her third challenge. So that was her third challenge. Plus she's done a couple of other Nexus challenges before that, just short of 6-week ones.
They aren't even her first photos. Like her first photos are pretty amazing. How far she's come.
And so it was, yeah, just consistency. She just stuck at it. So I guess they're the three elements. You're just going to eat really well, you've got to push really hard in your weights, and you've got to be really consistent. Do those three, you can't go wrong. All right. The phases of this program, if we flip over to this page here, there's 5 phases. We'll start with the introduction on phase 1, which is really even if you've done this challenge 3 times before, it's still good. You want to go back and start lighter. You can't always be lifting heavy and heavy. You have to have up and down cycles. So for the ladies here who've done this before, and most of them aren't here because they've done it before, they'll just start at a nice lower base and build up. Give the joints and the ligaments a chance to rest and recover. And also you're always learning to start to perhaps pick up on a higher level of technique. Maybe instead, now that you're not so concerned with trying to work out what's going on, you can start to really try to feel the muscles and what you're meant to be working as well. And really talking to me about that too as you're stepping up as well. One of the key things is like the bum, the glutes. We all think it's pretty easy just to squat and you work the glutes, but it's not. You've really got to squeeze and feel the glutes working. So as you get better at exercise, you've got to concentrate on that. And then for the new ladies doing this program, phase 1 is just about just getting into it, learning how it works, getting the feel for it, how the different sets work, how the different supersets work, and mainly the main thing is just working out what kind of weights you're actually going to be lifting, because you'll probably have no idea. And that will take at least a couple of weeks to work out what kind of weight range you're in. First 2 weeks are really important to talk to me and Nat and Leah to work out what weights you're going to be lifting. Okay, so we've got to get onto that as fast as we can, so you get the best chance of success. If it's not until week 6 or 7 or 8, and then I say, oh, you're still doing, I don't know, a seated row of 20 pounds, and then we say, well, that 6 or 7 weeks was a little bit of a write-off. So we've got to get on that straight away. So this program works best if you communicate with us constantly. There should be quite a lot of chit-chat on the forum. It doesn't necessarily have to be chit-chat about catching up for breakfast and stuff like that, but it's got to be about these sort of exercises and working out. So don't be shy and just think, oh, I'll work it out, or I'll chat to one of the team when we see them, and that may never happen. You've got to make sure you ask us. If you ask us on the forum and if you tag our name, then we'll respond within a few hours, straight away. Generally I'll respond straight away. So that's the first phase. Second phase gets a little bit harder, third phase gets a little bit harder, and fourth phase gets quite a lot harder. It gets harder as you go along. But you shouldn't notice it getting harder and harder, because as the phases are going along, you're getting fitter and you're getting stronger. So each phase, it should always basically feel like week 1 to you. Okay? As long as it's just that same level. As you get fitter and stronger, the exercises are getting up and up as well. Yeah. And then the last phase, which will go for 4 weeks, is all about the customization. It's really about the photos here. We'll see what happens about the photos, and then we're going to see how we customise your last phase, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. Okay, now the main guidelines of this program, if we skip down a little bit, first of all we've got to take your photos, which we'll go over. The next one is that you all have to get onto the forum. Sometimes people just delay getting on that forum, it takes them a bit too long, like a week or 2 weeks before some girls get onto the forum. You've got to get onto the forum straight away, because that's where everything happens. You won't know what exercises you're doing unless you're on the forum, because that's where the videos of all the exercises are. And all the initial questions about food, anything to do with nutrition, it's all going to come out on the forum. So we prefer you get on it straight away, ask questions, or see the responses straight away, so you're not on the forum 2 weeks later and asking questions that everyone else has already been through. So you've got to get onto that forum straight away. Having said that, while we're on the forum, before you do ask a question, have a quick scroll down the forum just to check if your answer's been addressed. Your question, if your questions have been addressed earlier on, because sometimes we just get people just asking the same question over and over again. And into the workshop, which we are all here now. With the forum, so it's the videos, a nutritional update, any questions, and also daily motivation. The main motivation will really come from yourself. Now, we'll post these cool little pictures and say, you go girls, you're a winner, but it really comes down to yourselves. If you see some people here and you push each other along, or you say something on the forum where you saw someone else doing a good workout, good on you, blah, blah, blah. Sounds a little bit corny, but that goes a massive way. It really, really does help. And I think in the forum before the last one in particular, it was just going off with that kind of stuff. It worked so well, and the group did so well. Positive encouragement on the forum is massive. I think people just get a little bit kind of nervous and shy on the forum, but the good commentary.
I think on the couple of rounds before as well, we had girls who, you know, say it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you finish work, you cannot be bothered doing a workout. We had some girls that posted on there and just said, girls, I'm so unmotivated, anyone want to meet me at the gym? And next second there were like 5 girls here and they were all motivating each other. So don't be afraid to do that sort of thing. That's what you guys are all here for. You're all in it together. You're all going through the same sort of things. So if you're feeling a bit flat, pop it on the forum, because the chances are there may be someone else who's going through the same thing. You guys can tee up and come in and do a workout together.
Sure. If you've got a really massive leg day coming up, you're like, oh, just don't know how I can handle getting through this leg workout. So yeah, see if anyone else is coming down and share the pain. It's still going to be the same pain, but you can talk about it together. All right, so the next down the page item is we're going to talk about using feeler sets and not warm-up sets. This is what I do personally with my workouts, and it makes a huge difference. Basically, it's every day it's different. Our hormone levels are different every day. Our stresses are different every day. Our nutrition is on or off each day. Some days are warmer, some days are cooler. There's a whole lot of things that can affect a workout. So it's totally illogical to think that every day you come into the gym you're going to be able to smash it out just the same, or you're always going to be able to do the same weight, or you're always going to be able to do the same reps. Someday, no matter what your prep is, it just doesn't happen that way. But so that doesn't do your head in, and you can always give 100% of what you're feeling at that day, I always begin my workout with feeler sets. So a feeler set is, a basic example is a squat. So I would start off doing, say we're giving you doing a barbell squat or a squat on here behind the bar, and squatting up and down. A feeler set is I'd always do the first set with just my body weight. I do whatever reps my set is. So if in the exercise, if the exercise says I'm doing 6 reps, then I do feeler sets of 6. If I'm doing 12 reps, then I do feeler sets of 12. I warm up for what I'm actually going to start on. So I'd start off with just my body weight, see how that feels. Then I put on an extra 20%, and an extra 20%, and I keep on going until I get up to my first set. And I know it's my first set because that will be it. I've felt it out. I can just get 6 reps for that first set. Makes a really big difference. The only other option is when people come in and I'll do like a random warm-up. Like say your first exercise is 6 reps of squats, and you'll just sit there doing like 20 reps of squats. So it's really not a feeler set. You're not preparing to do that 6 rep. And then I'll think, oh yeah, that's all right. And then I'll just start on whatever weight and they'll go from there. And then things start to fall apart really quickly because they're not prepared for it. So feeler sets help you to warm up to exactly where you should be at that day. Ideally, you always want your weights to go up every day or every week and every phase. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. You just got to give 100% of what you've got on that day. Yeah?
So if you've got 4 exercises to do you do feeler sets for all 4 or 4 different exercises, or does it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if it's a leg day, then I only need to do feeler sets for the first exercise, because once I've warmed the legs up for that, then they're fine forever. If it's a full body day, so I've got a back exercise, I'll do my feeler sets for that. And then the next exercise is the chest exercise, you'll have to do feeler sets for that. But then if you've got like a shoulder exercise after that, you won't need to do the feeler sets because they're already warmed up. But if you've got legs after that, you need to do feeler sets. So sometimes my workouts will take a while because I keep warming up, but that's the only way to go. It also vastly reduces your chance of sustaining any injuries because you're prepared for it.
But then with the 20% more each set, if you've done your feeler set to what you think you can do, and then you have to do another 20% on top of that, another 20% depending on your sets. Does that make sense?
Once you've reached a weight.
So we stay, once we've done our feeler sets,
Yep.
we stay on that weight for that whole, each set.
Well, depending, because you'll know there are some exercises where you do the same weight all the way across, and there are some exercises where you go up. So you're just doing, regardless, you're just doing your feeler sets up to that first set. Okay. But I'll go over all the sets of what to do in a second. If you take nothing else from that, but just remember, do those feel sets, get the feel for it and warm up gradually, don't just jump into it. Okay, rest periods. We were talking at the end, in the beginning about frustration with how general trainers and personal trainers work. Rest periods is a massive one that always bugs me. Should they get to it? I can never see the logic in you training someone or someone's training and they do a really good set and they'll just sit down and look at the clock for 60 seconds. And they're meant to rest for 60 seconds for no particular reason, but because we've been doing that since 1985. Rest for 60 seconds between your sets. It's not athletic, it's not dynamic, it doesn't keep the body moving, it's not burning calories, and it's not the way muscle wants it. Muscle needs to be challenged, you need change to create change. So if you've done a good set, and you think, yeah, I'm ready to go, I'm pretty sure, I'm always 100% sure I can get those reps out again, then just go. You may have rested 10 seconds, you may have had to rest 2 minutes. If you're doing a really heavy set of squats, and say they're doing 20 reps, and then you've got to do another 20 reps, you might be, I don't think I can get that 20 reps for another minute or so. We'll just hang out there, wait until you're ready to get it. The main thing is you get it. But if you just had an amazing day, you've eaten amazing for 2 days leading up to it, and you just smash it out and you sit around for 20 seconds like, I'm ready to go, I'm just going to smash it out and do it. So rest periods is if you're ready to go, go. If you're not ready, just don't go. If you think about it, it's like really like logical, I would hope. But no one in any gym does it. They just sit down, rest for 60 seconds, don't move, and then do it. Anything on any of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about keeping your body warm and moving. You know, I find myself when I'm doing an upper body workout that I'll tense and I'll move my legs around and walk, but I will, you know, I'll just keep moving my arms and keep moving my shoulders and try and flex. You know, I mean, you're not going to stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself, but
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But you know, it's about keeping that blood in the muscle. So, you know, move around.
In between my squat sessions, more and more, I do like the jiggles between my sets.
Yep.
And like, you know,
Especially with the glutes.
yeah.
Can I tell you that's one area that me myself have had to work on a lot. So after I do a set of squats, then I literally get my heels into the ground and squeeze that glute, because you'll be amazed at how much force that muscle can take. So whilst your legs might feel it when you're doing that squat, your glute's not getting the absolute optimum. You can still push that glute another 20%, but your legs just won't let you do it. So that's when you really just pin that heel in and give it a good squeeze. No, both sides, just keep going. And it's amazing, you'll be surprised at how quickly the results will happen.
Yeah.
Glute activation is a big thing we hear about all the time. But it's just, the glute is the biggest, strongest muscle in the body. No muscle can compare to it. It's you know, it can take a real hammering. And but not only that, you've got to actually physically squeeze it. So when you're doing your squats, you come out of your squats and you get the good tight squeeze before you come back down again. Otherwise, it'll just laugh at you. It's like, I can take that all day. If you think whatever your body weight is, it's lifting that up all day. It doesn't bother it. Okay, so let's go on to your workouts. Well, before you go into the workouts, does anyone have any questions about anything at all? Easy? All right. If you do have any questions, please make sure you ask them on the forum. Don't be shy. So with the workouts, the first workout you're doing is a full body workout. So with the first 2 weeks, you do day 1, you do full body. Day 2, you do your legs. Day 3, you do full body. And day 4, you do your HIIT training, which stands for high intensity interval training, which is basically an intense full body workout. Now with the full body workout to start with, I've kept it really straightforward to avoid confusion. So you can really just concentrate on your weights and what you need to do. So you've got 4 different exercises that you need to get through on day 1. You complete all of exercise A, then all of exercise B, then all of exercise C, then all of exercise D. I point that out because sometimes you do supersets where you circuit through them, but you're not doing that for this day. Now, point 1, I've said you're going to increase the load each set by 1 to 2.5 kilos each set. Okay? So say dumbbell front squat, exercise A. Don't worry about what a dumbbell front squat is for. Actually, let me show you. So dumbbell front squat, you grab some dumbbells. This is the great exercise because not only does it work the legs and the glutes, but it's great for your posture as well. So you're holding your dumbbells front squat, they're not touching your body, they're not resting on your shoulders. You've got your heels wide, your toes out, and you're squatting down, keeping a nice neutral spine or straight back. And you're doing it 6 times. So I do that set 1, so I'm starting off with 3 kilos. So then that means that set 2 I'd have to do 4 kilos, set 3 I'd have to do 5 kilos, then 6 kilos, and so on. Okay, I've got to go up each time. You've got to read the little notes that I wrote above each workout, because some sets you won't be going up in weight. You'll be keeping the same weight across all the sets. So if you're keeping the same weight across all the sets, it's generally going to be a heavier weight then, isn't it? You've got to be maintaining that across. With these ones, you're really finishing up on number 6. 6th set is your prime one. On the 5th set is your prime one.
Really make sure you read those notes, because we had heaps of women in the last couple of rounds forgetting to read them, and then do the same weight the whole way through, and they go, oh, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now. So make sure you pick them up at the very start. They're really, really important for your workouts. And
it will be hard to work out your weights. You might do 2, 3, 4, 5, then finish off your set 5 with 6 kilos by 6 reps, and that might be like a piece of cake for you. That's all right, that's only week 1. You're going to do this program for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks, and on the second week you go, well, that 5th set I finished on 6 kilos, that was pretty easy. So maybe next time I reckon I can finish on like 9 or 10 kilos, and so you can rejig it to go there. You might go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kilos. Do it that way. Okay? So you're going to work out your weights on all your exercises that way.
Daniel, I've got another question, sorry.
Yeah.
If you get to like your 4th set and you're on 9 kilos and you can only just do 5 or 6 or whatever it is, should you still go up or should you stay on that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So it's not only pushing weight, it's about feeling the muscle and working it appropriately. So you've got to have good technique. So there's no point in me going up to that extra weight on the dumbbell front squat if I cannot actually hold the dumbbells properly, or I can't squat down low enough, or I can't keep it straight back if it arcs out. So for that case, go back to whatever weight you did the last set that you could maintain it and keep that. So you might go, say you start at 5 kilos, you might do 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, if that's what it is. Or it might be 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, whatever it works out to. Any questions on the weights?
And your warm-up or feeler set would be in addition to these 5 here.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So for most exercises, like those dumbbell front squats, your feeler sets, particularly if you haven't done the squats before, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 bodyweight sets. But as you get to bigger exercises, like say this seated row down here, if you've been doing it for a few weeks, like around week 8 to 10, you might be doing 70 or 80 pounds. Then you might be doing quite a few feeler sets before you get up to your first weight. So that's day 1. So then on day 2, the legs day, it's the same deal. You're going up each set by 1 to 2.5 kilos. There's a difference in this day though. We've got this second point here where I say on set 4, reduce your weight by 20% and then perform as many repetitions as you can without technical breakdown. You've got to maintain great form. So this is just a little way that we're going to add in a little bit of extra intensity. So for the dumbbell back lunge, I might start on 5 kilos, I do 10 each leg, then 6 kilos, and then 7 kilos, and then I picked a tricky number for myself. And so then I've got to reduce that by 20%, which would be, 1.4 kilos, which we don't do it that way, but say I drop down to 6 kilos, and then you do as many reps as you can. Okay? Now when you do get it to that exercise, that step where you drop the 20% and do as many as you can, you probably should only be getting around 10 to 12 in good form. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to break out 30 or 40 reps. If you're getting 30 or 40 reps, then your initial weights were just too light to start with. Okay, so as much as it you can, it sinks in with the weights that you've got. When you get to that final set, reduce it by 20% and do your set. Burn out as many as you can. But don't want to just keep on doing it no matter what your technique's doing. You've got to maintain a good quality technique. Anything on those? And just keep a close eye on them because they do change up a lot. The first, second and third exercise, you're reducing it. But on the fourth exercise, you're not. And the fourth exercise, the reps are much higher. You're doing 25 on each one. And so it's always different sizes. You've just got to read it carefully.
Actually, one note with that, with changing up the weights, if you are working out with a partner, don't just think because your partner's lifting a certain amount of weights that that's the weight that you need to be lifting too. All of our bodies are different. We're all at different strength levels. So if you find that you can lift heavier or you need to go lighter, then do it. It's your own body, so treat it like, individually. Don't do the same weights as your partner. That's not your weight.
That's such a good point. We see that all the time. Like a 5-foot girl training with a 6-foot girl, and they're each like lifting the same amount. It's not going to happen that way. Particularly, it won't happen when you go up to doing the sled. On the sled, essentially mass moves mass. So the heavier your body weight, you're naturally going to be able to push more. So if you weigh 50 kilos, and you should not be pushing the same as a woman that weighs 65 kilos. Day 3. Now this is one of those days where we're keeping the weight the same right across the board. So you've got to try to find a weight that's going to be good for you, and then you're just going to keep it for all 5 sets. And you're doing different reps on all of the sets. Okay? But once again, you might get up to set 5 and think it was just too easy. Or you might get up to set 3 and you think, I just had to reduce that weight. It wasn't the best weight to choose. That's okay. It's only week 1. Week 2, you'll readjust it. And then week 3, it's a whole new program. So you've got 2 weeks. Basically what we always say is, you've got 2 weeks on each program. Week 1 to get used to it, week 2 to smash it out of the park, because then the next week it's a totally new program. You'll never do that week again. Okay? So just got to make the most of each phase, because you'll never do it again after 2 weeks. Day 4 on our hit day. Now here I've written supersets. This is where everyone gets confused. Well, it's not very confusing. It's reasonably straightforward. I probably don't explain it well. Maybe that's mumble too much. So with supersets, if you notice in the previous pages with the sets, it just says A, B, C, D. Here it says A1, A2, B1, B2. So because it's 2 A's, think of them as not 2 separate exercises. Think of it as one exercise. So what's going to happen? Your first exercise is a barbell push press. So you're doing 5 reps of that, and then as soon as you finish that, you're coming down and you're going to do 10 reps of a broad jump. When you've done that, that's your first set done. Then you're going to go back, then you would rest for whatever is required, but there's no rest between them. Just think of them as one set. You don't rest in between those 2 exercises. Then you go back to the barbell push press, do your second set of that, and then immediately do your second set of broad jump. So instead of doing cross there, you're really doing a zigzag across there. Okay? So you get the A exercises down, and then you're doing your B exercises. You're doing crunches, and you alternate it with sled. That's good fun. Okay? And you're going to do that all the way down across the day. Sometimes the days get even bigger. Instead of being A1, A2, B1, B2, it could be A1, A2, A3, A4. Or it could be A1 to A6. We can do whatever we want. We can have some really big days in there. Okay? But if it is, for example, A1, A6, then those 6 exercises, they're one exercise. There is no rest in between those exercises. You get through them, and then after exercise 6, that's when you rest. Okay? Also, but if you rest in between each one of them, you'll be here for all day. Just on the sled, we'll go over the sled in the forum when it comes up to it, but there's always confusion of when I say gym length and this and that, of how much you're actually meant to do the sled. So I've said for each set, so you've got 5 sets, and I said to do gym length. So the gym length means there's a gate that goes out, so you go down the back of the gym and there's a little gate that comes out to the side of the gym, and we always set up the sled there. And then I factor gym length that's going from that gate down to underneath the sports centre sign in the landing bay there. So down 1 is gym length. So that's your 1 set. So you push it down there, and then you rest for as much as you require, and then you push it back. That's your second set. So if you're doing 5 sets, then that means you go 1, 2, 3. Wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6?
You've got 5.
Yeah, it should be 6. I was thinking that's odd. You should finish back up there. Just edit that out, Brent. Okay. That's how you're going to finish back up the top. Okay. So if you can, because the sled is all about high intensity power. If you can sled it straight down and then just turn it around and sled it straight back up, then that's not power, that's more endurance. Okay, so you should be down there gasping for breath for a minute to 5 minutes before you can slug it back up the other end.
And the sled, yeah, lots of faces turning in here. The sled is an awesome, awesome piece of equipment. Like, it's just a big piece of metal. And you're like, well, I've got, you know, how is this going to benefit me? It works like so many muscles in your body. You will find your heart rate will be through the roof, which means not only are you getting really good power, you're getting good strength, you're working those muscles really, really hard. You're burning a lot of calories as well. So don't underestimate that piece of material. And you know, it can be really hard to do. And so we've had girls who felt a bit sick after they finished it and that sort of thing. Just make sure that you get a bit of fuel in you beforehand, which we'll talk about in the forum. But you don't be afraid of it. It's an awesome, awesome piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Is pushing as if you're going to kill yourself, or you're sort of running along? Struggling with each step, or should it be a bit
The
more
thing with a
fluid?
sled is you want to load up to the point where you're pushing at 100%, like you're sprinting as hard as you can, but you're probably travelling at a slow jog pace. But inside, you're spinning as hard as you can. Okay? Yeah. If you actually can get down there at a sprint pace, it's too light. You'll be amazed at your power, because the beauty of this sled is that, well, number one, it's so good for your back. It looks really heavy and brutal, but the way that you hold it down the poles like that, it's almost impossible to arch your back and push it. So if I've got people that have got sore backs and they can't squat or deadlift, I'll give them the sleds, and then they can still work their legs. They don't have to worry about their back. But because of that back position, because you're so low, you see my hips are so contracted, it's just like so much bum all the way down there. And because there's so much bum, once again, it's superpower. It's your strongest muscle. So you'll find it gets a bit annoying. You'll put on 10 kilos, I can still push it. Put on 10 kilos, I can still push it. It just keeps going up and up and up.
You'll be surprised how much you can actually push. Daniel put 100 kilos in there one day. He didn't tell me there was 100 kilos on the sled.
I think that was the first day I took Nat through it. I loaded up to 100 kilos.
You put up the mountain still before, and the boys were like, why did you do that? Now we've all got to push 100 kilos. But you'll be surprised how much you can push.
Yeah. That's good weight for a girl. Okay. Okay, so let's flip over here. So then nutrition. Nutrition is the main thing. The exercise is great. It does change the shape of the body and it tones. But you're not going to reveal any of that, or you're not going to have the power and ability to shape the body without quality nutrition. Hydration, that's an easy one. You've got to drink a lot of water. Our bodies are essentially 80% fluid. Everything that functions in our body functions better if it's well hydrated. Our metabolic rate, our ability to burn calories, our ability to recover from injuries, our brain feeling less tired in the afternoons, feeling more awake early in the mornings, the ability for muscle tissue to recover. You need water for all of those things. There's so many people that feel a little bit like down and not great, and you just get them to drink more water and they go, oh, it feels pretty good. Stop taking Nurofen or coffee in the day or whatever it is and just drink more water. Water makes a really, really big difference. I always recommend that straight away 1 litre, get that down in the morning as soon as you can. Set yourself up for the rest of the day, and 3 litres over the course of the day. Which if you don't drink much water might seem like a lot, but it's not. Particularly if you like these two drinking. How much do you have to drink at the moment?
That was 6 a couple of days ago. 6 litres.
3 litres is a piece of cake. You'll drink more as the challenge ends, as you get healthier and healthier, but for the moment try to make sure you're drinking with 3 litres. And don't leave it to chance or try to work it out by just having glasses. I'd recommend getting a 1 litre bottle and just all your water coming out of that and just refilling that 3 times over the day.
That's the easiest way to do it. And don't try and guzzle all your water just before you go to bed. You will stay up all night peeing, I can guarantee that. Pace it throughout the day. I mean, I've got, I will post it on the forum, there's this picture that I saw recently of a litre bottle, and they've literally written the times on it with like little, so by 9 o'clock I need to drink this much, or you just kind of work it out. It's a lot easier if you just drink it throughout the day instead of trying to, and the other thing is your body can't actually hold that much water, it will just flush it out, so you will go to the toilet a lot more than if you're pacing it throughout the day.
You'll go to the toilet regardless a lot in the first few days, because if if you don't drink water regularly, you're going to be storing fluid, so you're going to flush through all of that. So people that start to go, oh, I can't even work because I'm in the toilet the whole time. And I said, well, that doesn't last forever. After about a week or so, your body will get back on track, and you'll find that, just 3 or 4 times a week.
The skin will be amazing.
Yeah, skin really helps.
The skin will be really good with the amount of water. Just getting rid of all the toxins. Amazing.
So as well as toxins, as well as feeling better, it also just flattens you up, particularly through the midsections fast. Because our body is very smart. If our body doesn't have a regular supply of water coming in, and it's amazing how many people walk around the Western world, permanently semi-dehydrated. If you don't get that water in you, well, your body still needs it, so it's going to store it, and it could store it from starchy carbohydrates. It can store it from fruit. It can store it from vegetables. It can store it from some crap soft drink. It'll find the fluid wherever it can, and it'll store it, and you'll get nicely bloated. Okay, so if you do particularly suffer from bloating, apart from it could be multiple issues, but one of them is drink a lot of water and flush it out. Because your body won't allow you to be dehydrated. It'll store whatever water it can. If it gets a regular supply, it doesn't have to store it anymore. So that's water. The next big thing is carbohydrates. Carbs are super important. Generally when people go on a program, they try to eat well, or particularly they want to get lean, is they'll essentially just eliminate carbs from their diet. And they really demonize carbs. And carbs are neither good nor evil, they just are what they are. They're a good source of energy. And so you need to use that energy for you when it works, just not when it doesn't work. So for example, in the first half of the day, you want carbs. You want to have energy. You want to be able to work at a high output. You want to be able to come into the gym and do a good quality workout. But you don't really want them at night when all you want to do is sit around and watch TV or do whatever. You're not going to burn them off. They're just going to get stored. So the carbs, well, it's all sort of set out for you in the meal plan. But the main thing about today is just not to be fearful of carbs, as long as they're good quality carbohydrates. So for example, brown rice would be better than white bread, which is essentially like eating jelly beans because it's that high in sugar. So you want to stick to good quality carbs and use them for energy. There's nothing worse than coming into a big sled session and have no carbs throughout the day. You're not going to be able to push anything. If you can't push anything, you can't get your metabolic rate up. And if you can't get your metabolic rate up, you're not going to burn any calories. So the irony is of having no carbs to try to be lean, you're not going to be able to do anything that's actually going to get you really lean and change the body.
And that feeling, there's been some girls who've done sled and even just workouts in general. And halfway through their workouts, they feel dizzy and faint. And you're like, oh, have you eaten today? No, I haven't. Well, there you go. Like, your body needs it.
Oh, what did you have to eat? I had a tin of tuna 3 hours ago.
Yeah. But there's no carbohydrates in that. It's not going to give you any energy. So, yeah. You did do that. I wasn't talking about you, by the way.
Protein is a gun. Protein is so essential for looking amazing. Our muscles need protein to grow. So if you want to, say you want to lift and shape the bum, well, your shape's got to grow, you've got to have protein. If you want to have broader shoulders or a narrower waist or whatever it is, you need protein to shape the body. So that's essential. You need protein for the muscle. And of course you need more active muscle tissue because muscle raises your metabolic rate and converts calories. So to get leaner, you have to have protein. It's very hard to get leaner without having a high protein diet. You also need protein because it rebuilds all soft tissue in the body, whether it's muscle or ligaments or tendons. People that generally have a low protein diet, they're much more likely to get injured. And it's amazing, just like water, how many people walk around not realising they have a low protein diet. They might have a carb-centered breakfast with no protein in it, and they don't really have any throughout the day, and they might have like a meat meal in the evening. Essentially they're going out through the whole day without having protein, and then they wonder why they're not leaner, or they wonder why they feel a little bit just kind of not too strong and powerful throughout the day. So protein is essential. Anything else to say about protein?
Keeps you fuller for longer too.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. Protein takes longer to break down than carbohydrates, so yeah, it keeps you satiated. Bless you, Alex. So that's the basics on protein and carbs. If you flip over, Nat's done up a pretty cool chart which shows, there are hundreds of protein and carbohydrate choices, but this is just to keep it, we're going to keep this a bit simple. And these got some simple protein options, some simple carbohydrate options, and also good fats. But that's the big thing with eating. Some people know about carbs, some people know about protein, but everyone gets good fats wrong. And everyone thinks that if you want to get lean, you've got to cut out your fats. The irony is, most people, when they try to get lean, they increase the sugars in their diet, and they lower the good fats. Okay, so if I said, I really want to trim up, okay, a lean belly, so I'm going to buy a low-fat milk. So automatically, you lowered your good fats and you've increased your sugar. Dairy's a killer when people do that. Okay, so low-fat dairy is higher in sugar, lower in good quality fats.
Fruit's another big one.
Yeah.
Especially this time of the year, everyone's like, oh, but I'm eating so well, I'm eating so much fruit. And they're eating fruits that are like really high in sugar. So again, not necessarily going to benefit you for weight loss.
At a cellular level, if we reduce it all down to the basics, our body runs on good fats. That is the essential oil that our body runs on. As the human race, it wasn't until we had the ability to start killing and eating animals that we really took off with brain development and grew bigger, faster and stronger. Good fats are just so essential. I've noticed it myself with the dietitian Terry, who we all see and who wrote the meal plan, is when he upped my flaxseed oil. I have buy the flaxseed oil comes in about a bottle that size. I'd have one of those every 6 days. Before I did that with him, I was having like a tablespoon every now and then. When I upped my flaxseed oil, my good fats, I dropped about 2 kilos of body fat immediately. Just went. The whole body was just running better. Like good fats. Did you find that with your fats?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's still hard. Like I tell that to people, and they're like, no, that's not right.
And I even feel that both Leah and I, we're doing a competition tomorrow, and people think, oh, you must just be eating like chicken and broccoli. No, we get fats, we get carbohydrates. On comp day, I'm eating brown rice. So it's not necessarily about cutting down everything to get yourself leaner. It's about the right combinations, which we're very fortunate to have Terry to have put those combinations for you guys.
Okay, so your good fats, you can get them through a whole variety of it, as we mentioned here. But one of the easiest ones that I always say is flaxseed oil. I drizzle it over my oats in the morning. I drizzle it over my broccoli. I pour it into my yogurt. Sometimes I just spoon it down. I just get it down any way I can.
It's quite nice, like a nutty taste.
Yeah.
If you get
You've
good
got to
quality.
get good quality.
No.
You can buy flaxseed oil from Coles and Safeway. It comes in a smaller bottle. It tastes, even though it's not a fish oil, it tastes like fish oil. It's gross. But if you go to like a proper, like Go Vita's really good, and you go in their fridge and get the proper flaxseed oil, it's almost flavourless. It's got a slight nutty flavour.
Nutty, yeah.
And I actually prefer it on my foods now. I prefer it on my broccoli. Portion sizes is the next big one. Sometimes when we're looking at people's food diaries and then I may not be able to work out why they're not trimming up because their food looks pretty good, but then we miss the obvious, they're just having too much of it. The portion size is huge. I weigh about 91, 92 kilos, and people get amazed that if I sit down, if I go out and eat with them, that I'm probably eating half of what they eat. Because I just eat small meals regularly. If you want to drip feed protein throughout the body, you can only digest so much in one hit. And also you want carbs more regularly, so you've got energy. And so your body my body's just used to having small meals. I can't stomach it. A big meal, I just wouldn't be able to take it. Even on my cheat day, I just couldn't take it. I wouldn't be able to digest it. So this portion control is really important. I'd really pay attention to this because most people overeat. Probably half of you here probably have bigger meals than I would have. Okay, so I would definitely pay attention to that. And you might get a little bit hungry here and there as your stomach's getting used to it, but that's just a good sign. You've got to have your snacks, small meals frequently. You definitely shouldn't be hungry on this meal plan if you're following it. Okay? If you're like sitting there going, oh, I'm starving, I don't know what to do, you're not doing it properly. You've got to prepare your meals and have it consistently. Maybe on that point, because you two are so good at this, before we move on, we'll just talk about food prep.
Yeah. You just can't get good results until you've mastered food prep. Your house may be full of containers, which I know Leo knows drives my housemates crazy. But it's the only way of doing it. You can't expect to go a day and not have food prepared and then go, oh, I'm not losing weight because you've had to go and pick up something from 7-Eleven. Like, it's not going to work. So it may take, a Sunday. I normally do my food prep on a Sunday before the week starts, and it might take a couple of hours, but it's a couple of hours during the week that you do not have to touch food or go in the kitchen at all.
That's right.
It could be, food prep could be cutting up all your veggies ready to go and putting them in little bags so that the portions are all weighed out. As soon as you get home, it's 5 seconds, just chuck them on, done. It could be measuring out everything in plan, having it all set, ready to go.
If you think of those 2-3 hours on a Sunday, you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. You are done. You are done. So you can get home from work and it's not, oh, now I've got to cook dinner, because all you need to do is put your meat on the grill, put your veggies in the microwave or in the steamer, or have your salad, it's there. So that 20 minutes, half an hour that you're spending at each interval that you would normally prepare your meals on a day-to-day, so that maybe hour and a half that you spend just preparing meals in that one day, you're not doing it. You might spend 15 minutes because it's done, because you've done it all on that, that one day. And especially when you're working, it makes a big difference. Busy mums as well. Like, you're on the go, so it's all there, it's all ready. So it's about saying, okay, I'm going to allow myself, for me, a couple of hours on that Saturday or Sunday or Monday, whatever day works for you, to get myself right and set up for the rest of the week. Because if I'm good, then everyone's good.
Yeah, and especially for the mums as well, because I know some of you are a bit worried about having to cook meals for you and then for your families. If this is pretty much all ready to go, it's not going to be an issue. You just cook for your family, your food's already done, sorted. A lot easier.
And most of the cooking for the family is the same.
Yeah.
You're having protein and vegetables for all your dinner, which is what kids should be having anyway. It's just that, you may add in a sauce for them, or maybe there's a side of pasta or rice or whatever for them. But essentially the meal is the same. Depends on what age your kids are, what they've grown up used to. But it shouldn't differ too much. And food prep is also makes it so much easier for your shopping. You're less likely to buy things that you shouldn't eat during the week. I know my shopping. It's easy. I get 7 bags of broccoli, I get 6 kilos of chicken, I get this, I get that. So I know exactly what I'm going to have. It's easy, in and out, done.
You'll find over the course of the 12 weeks, by the end, by probably week 4, week 5, you'll just be cruising. No problem. In terms of the food, you'll just be, oh yeah, that's if you follow it, then you'll just keep going.
Did you send us really some cooking demonstrations?
Separate to Skinny Bitch project, but we'll update you guys.
Yeah, we'll go there. Okay. After food, the next thing is supplementation. This is one of the biggest things that Terry, the dietitian, has changed. We used to do quite extensive supplementation, which worked. We really crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's of supplementation. We left nothing to chance. The only thing is what we've found is that it was very hard for everyone to do. There's one thing they do on food prep, but then they had to do all their supplement prep, and they had to make sure they had all their supplements throughout the day, and it was just an extra stress. So it's easier, we found, what you were saying, just to cut it down and concentrate on the essential things. The other thing is that it was pretty expensive, like you're spending like $400 or $500 on supplements. So we've cut down to the essential supplements, which is protein, which we've already gone over, and then amino acids, that's the super amino, 600. Amino acids are essentially the building blocks of protein. So we've got to make sure that you drip feed the amino acids throughout your body for all the benefits of protein compounded. And the expand, which is your pre-workout, which has some fat burning abilities and also will pump you along through your workout, particularly on those days where you may not have got your meals just right. We've also further made this easy, is that you don't even have to go to the shop. So you've got order forms, and all you need to do is just tick off what you want, and you can order it through us, and it's $175. So you're saving like $300 or $400 on the supplements. It is important to have the supplements. Okay? If I really wanted to sell the supplements, I can add in another 5 or 6 ingredients. But it's very important to at least have the protein and the aminos. Okay?
Which one's the
The-
protein, the ice? The
No, that's the ISO 100. Yeah.
Too delicious, by the
Which
way.
is awesome.
Yeah. So whether your goal is to change the body or to repair tissue or whatever it is, you've got to have the protein. Even guys don't have enough protein. They'll just have one whopping great amount maybe after a workout and that's it. But it's much better to have it small dosages throughout the day. That ISO 100, like anyone that knows me knows that I used to be like a massive chocolate fan. Like, I eat chocolate, dark chocolate, like I just smashed down a block of old gold in 2 seconds. I'll probably 12 minutes actually. But what I do now is I get the gourmet chocolate ISO 100 and whip that into yogurt before I go to bed, and it's just like a chocolate mousse. And oh, mama, it's great. So I really look forward to that. And that's actually just killed my desire for chocolate because I don't need it anymore. And so for me to kill the desire, that's just something.
How much of this should you order to last them 12 months?
That's a good question because we haven't done it before, so we don't know how long that's going to take through. But just do one order. I mean, the gym's not going anywhere, so if you need another order, just do another.
I think the size we're giving you guys like a medium size, I think, or maybe a smaller size. But you might find, you just want to try it out anyway.
Yeah.
And then we've always got the big ones.
You can order huge sizes
Yeah.
of protein if you want to, but if you have a
Make
scoop
it
of it
easier.
and you don't like it, I'd have to finish it.
Big
sweet.
commitment. No.
Yep. Okay, so we will put through those orders on, let's say, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you can either put in an order today, or you've got over the weekend on the forum, or you can come in and bring your sheets on Monday. But on Tuesday, we'll definitely put through the order, and then we won't put it again for another few weeks. So you need to get onto that.
And you can scan and email it to us as well, because that's easier.
Okay. But do not do the program on a low protein diet. You're going to get injuries all over the place, and you'll feel flat. Okay. Now, on the very last page, we've got a nutrition program. It should be titled Personal Nutrition. That's the name of Terry's company, the dietitian. You'll notice for the breakfast and also for the dinners, well, let's start with the breakfast. You've got a bit of variation. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different breakfasts. Like, that's luxury. I just have the same thing every day. So you've got all combinations of good quality whole carbohydrate with protein with good fats. Essentially, that's what's in all of your meals. But with these, you don't have to worry about it because it's all been divvied up for you. The protein first cereal is really cool. You can just get that from Coles or Woolworths. It's just literally, it's a box that's got this big protein mark written on the front of it. So it's pretty easy to do. Quick oats with the ISO 100, or your toast and avocado for your good fats for the protein in the end. Berries with the yogurt of choice. Probably our 2 favourite yogurts. Well, my favourite one is just the Yelna Greek yogurt. And remember, we want it to be low sugar so you get it full fat. Okay?
Yeah.
And that has the...
I get the 5 a.m. yogurt, the natural unsweetened. I like it, it's really creamy.
More fats and stuff.
Just one thing on low fat as well. I did ask Terry because I knew there were going to be lots of girls going, but some of them say low fat. What does that mean? He's done all of the calculations for us, so we don't have to do any of it. So by having a little bit of low fat ice cream at night time, which is 100 grams, that's not much. We're not saying a whole litre of ice cream. 100 grams is not much. You're not going to feel deprived. You're going to get that little treat at the end of the day, and it's not going to make any difference to your results. So where you do see where it does say low fat, you said particularly with ice cream, there isn't a huge difference with low fat and full fat, but everything else where he has not mentioned low fat, you need to get the full fat.
Can I just ask a question? What can you swap a banana for?
Kiwi fruit or strawberries?
Blueberries?
Berries and kiwi fruit are your best options because they're low GI, so they've got less sugar. It takes longer to hit your bloodstream, so it gives you more sustained energy, and they're much higher in fibre as well.
So is banana out because it's higher in sugar?
The banana's still in there, but it's only half a banana.
Oh.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about the measurements there. So he's obviously divvied it up so that you're getting it from the carbohydrates and the banana, I think it is. So.
You've got to go to them quite specifically. When I first started one of Terry's plans, and I generally had this and I generally had that, I was not looking that great. I wasn't getting the results. So he does them quite specifically for what it needs to be.
So Saturday, Sunday, you can repeat.
Yeah. Are you off, Anne?
Anna.
Sorry, I've got to go.
Have you had your photos done?
No, I'm doing it on Tuesday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Saturday, Sunday, do you go back to day like 1, 2, or?
Just your choice, whatever you want to do for your 7 days.
Yeah.
You might choose to do day 1 for 7 days, or you just alternate them all, whatever you want to do.
Oh, so you don't have to follow one.
Yeah, no, this is just an example of how your days would be like. So
So Daniel, if you like day 3, then you could just have 12 weeks of day 3.
if you want, so I have day 2. I have the oats with the ISO 100. I don't have banana, and I have flaxseed oil with it. I have that 7 days a week. Now, you can do it whatever way you want.
I have the oats every day as well.
Yeah, the same with the after dinner. I just have the yogurt with the protein powder and flaxseed oil every day.
And that's fine. Like
It's whatever works for
you
you.
just written in there for a bit of variation. So obviously, which is really cool because at least if you don't like oats, you don't have to have oats every day. So it's really simple, guys. Like just choose what it is in there that you like, as long as it's in that, like in that sequence. It's fine.
For the 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you had a
And
gluten
learn from it. Look at the nutrition. Look what you're buying. You know, it's just about educating you. So look at the fact that okay, I'm having a carbohydrate along with a bit of fat in there, and then there's some protein too. So then you can pick that up and say, okay, after the 12 weeks, you could say, all right, well, you know what? I like the idea of having some yogurt with some berries in it, and some protein powder, and some flaxseed oil, which, by the way, is
Yeah.
amazing. But it's about understanding those ingredients and what you're getting out of it.
That's why this plan should last you the rest of your life, because you can use it as a template.
I've noticed there's no quinoa or anything like that this time round, but is that okay to introduce into a salad or something at lunch?
Stick to this
Stick
as
to this.
much as possible. So, like, I know that we like variation. This is pretty varied, like, especially with carb cycling. You guys, you know, it was a lot more unstructured.
Yeah.
This has been structured in a way so that you're getting the best results. So I wouldn't divvy from this at all. Don't go looking at these superfood sections and all that sort of thing. And when we do it, don't do it. Just stick to this.
Yeah, and you got to
The
remember,
cool
you got to really
foods,
take
they're
those sort of
bad,
things
you know,
with a grain of salt, like goji berries and quinoa and stuff like that. They're not all that they've been cracked up to be. So stick to this as much as you can. There is a lot of variety in here already, but when it comes to changing your body in 12 weeks, variety is not the spice of life. Okay, so I would always get the best results by having the same thing every day, and it's just easier mentally to lock into. Okay, but you can go either way, but if you had to go one way or the other, I would recommend just have the same thing every day.
So there's no mention of salt or herbs or anything that you could flavour your meat or chicken with?
You can use the herb in there.
Can we sprinkle some?
There's a great product called Herbamere, which is actually, yeah, we do have some actually. It's made from from vegetables, so it's not sodium itself can actually hold onto water. So we obviously don't want to be creating more of that dehydration where our bodies.
So you're recommending not adding too much salt to your food?
Exactly. Herbamere is quite salty, so I would definitely recommend getting that. Yeah.
But it's giving you that salty sort of flavour that you're
Leah and
but it's not counteracting the things that you're trying to do to your body.
And as far as herbs go absolutely nuts on herbs.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
dried herbs, chili, cayenne pepper, paprika. Like our food looks pretty colourful considering what we're doing. So
Theirs does.
go nuts on the colours.
The only thing I put in my meat is
Yeah, I had someone walk in.
pizza.
Someone walked into the office the other day and said, "It smells like you're eating pizza in here." It was just chicken with lots and lots of seasoning on it. So don't freak out. Just check with the seasonings that there isn't a lot of salt or sugar on the back. You'll be surprised when you turn around those nutrition panels how many of the seasonings actually have salt and sugar, and a lot of it. So it's just stick really clear, but make up your own seasonings. Easy.
On salad and veggies, is that? free salad and veggies, or is that portion as well? Just this fresh salad or veggies?
Salad
So
and
I know it's a
veggies.
question, stick to your greens and, ladies, you don't really want to think having a big thing of potato because that's, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, with salad and veggies, you don't have to really worry too much, particularly with the darker green veggies. They're essentially just fibrous water, there's nothing in them. So the good thing about vegetables, particularly the dark green vegetables, everyone just listens up here, with the darker green vegetables, your body will expend far more calories breaking down that's in them to start with. So often I use the analogy that eating a big bowl of broccoli is the same for your body as going for a quick sprint. It's probably burning the same amount of calories. Okay? So I always have half a kilo of broccoli every night, just to get that effect. So Terry wouldn't be too fussed how much, particularly dark green vegetables you're having, because the more you have, the more it's going to speed up your metabolic rate. In fact, you will find that if you do up your serves of vegetables, no matter how, the more you have, the more ravenous you'll get afterwards, because it will just spin the engine over really fast. Yeah, and it just makes you feel so good. Yeah.
What's your question? With the mixed salad and vegetables, is balsamic vinegar okay to have on like a salad? You know, like vinegar? Like, or do you just have like,
I think a little bit fine. I don't think a bit of balsamic vinegar is really going to make it or break it. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Mix it with your flaxseed oil.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your flax. Once you sort of have your flax in there, and if you put a few herbs and bits and pieces in with the flax too, you might find that you don't need those additional. What you've got to be really careful of is these additional sauce type things, because it's just sugar. Just put a pile of sugar on
And
top.
they're very high in sodium as well.
Yeah.
But it's just, it does take a while for your body to get used to things. You've got to give it a go. And I always go on about flaxseed oil, but now it's just, like, not having it on something tastes foreign to me. Like, I can't imagine not having it. So you've just got to give it a go before it
That's
sticks.
great on salads. Definitely try it.
Awesome on broccoli.
Go and stand in front of your spice cupboard, because I mean I have no doubt that you've probably got thousands of spices in there that you haven't used for 4 or 5 years that are just sitting there. So get them out, test them on a few things, try them. It's not gonna hurt. If anything, it's about learning what you can, the similar flavours that you can get out of something that might taste like a particular sauce that you have. Well, I could get that same flavour just from putting a bit of spice on it, or herb.
If you like chili, go nuts. Cayenne pepper's awesome. Chili is awesome for metabolism, so don't shy away from that.
What about tea and coffee? Like, how does that fit into this? It doesn't at all, nothing.
No. You
We didn't say doesn't.
No.
Don't worry. We got
We both still have coffee as well. It's not.
Yeah, I love coffee.
We're not going to tell you to stop having coffee. Obviously, don't have like 5 lattes a day because your milk's still got sugar in there and all that sort of thing. I wouldn't go any more than 2 coffees a day. And with every cup of coffee that you're having, make sure you're drinking lots and lots of water because coffee is dehydrating. So make sure you're drinking lots of water with it.
Is tea not as bad? Coffee also.
Oh, it's the same.
Herbal teas, on the other hand, go nuts.
Daniel,
Yes.
if I'm training in the morning, what can I have if I'm getting here at 6:30? Am I having my breakfast beforehand or what am I doing?
So if you're getting here at 6:30, what time will you wake up?
6:20. I just roll out, put that on, get up and go. You've seen me.
That's all you're saying.
Do you listen in the bistro, do you?
In my car, in the truck.
When I do my early morning workouts, I just have a banana.
That's why I was asking
and
about
then come
banana
in.
earlier on, 'cause
Yeah.
So that's all right?
I just have, yeah. I mean,
About the quarter.
I've got greater muscle mass than you, so I'd have 2 bananas, 2 full bananas. So if you just have 1 banana and come in.
On the
It's
way.
not going to be, I mean, really early morning workouts, if you've got a face, they're not going to be your best workout. Your body's going to be quite rusty. I know it's with my own, it just doesn't feel, you just can't get in the groove. And my early morning sessions, I can never lift as much as my mid-afternoon sessions, so you can't really avoid that. But having said that, you've got to fit them into life, so it's much better doing a rusty workout than doing no workout. And if you're always doing a morning workout, well, it just becomes your norm. So definitely have a banana before you come in, and then make sure you have your breakfast and refuel as soon as you get home.
This is my second question. How often should you have the stats throughout the day? Every 2 hours, 3 hours? It's not sure. It just says there's 5 minutes.
Yeah, how often pay?
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, really.
Every hour and a half.
I'm always eating.
Yeah.
You will not go hungry.
Absolutely not.
Most people say that to Nat and I when they come in and say, you guys are always eating. In our environment, it's okay, like you can always eat. People sort of expect it now. I know for those of you working in offices, that may not be, for those of you working in offices, that may not be practical. But you just got to do it as often as you can. So if you can't do it every hour and a half, try every 2. Can't do every 2, try 2.5. Can't do every 2.5, do every 3. Just try to get them in as often as you can. You might have one day that you can really nail it every hour and a half, and one day every 3. I mean, you really just got to do each day as best as you can. But you have all your food prepped and ready to go. And
I think the key with that is it's going to actually boost your metabolic rate by eating regularly throughout the day. If you're going hours and hours without eating, A, you're probably going to likely to binge because you'll be starving in ravenous when you get home. And the other thing is it's slowing down your metabolic rate. It's not forcing your body to work throughout the day. So you'll actually find through these workouts, you know, at the start it'll feel like a lot of food. You're like, how am I going to eat all this food in one day? You don't have to eat it in one hit. Have it throughout the day. Everyone loves eating, so enjoy it. It's every hour and a half to 2 hours, I would say, just to keep that metabolic rate going. You'd be surprised at how much it actually does do for the waistline.
Can I just ask, what is the Dynamitized multi and the fish oil, is that the subs or are they extra?
They're not, I didn't put them on the sub, so you can just get a multi.
Yeah, just a women's multi.
Just a women's
Just
multi.
any
Oh,
women's
okay, so
multi.
they're on top of the...
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the fish oil, same. Fish oil, flaxseed oil, get it from a health food store.
So you can have the flaxseed oil instead of the fish oil? Or you have both?
Right, they're different types of cookouts. Any other questions?
What about alcohol?
The thing is, it's got to be, you know, it's got to be something that you can maintain a lifestyle with, and if you deprive yourself of everything that you like, then it might make it too unbearable. It's got to be realistic. You just got to make the most of it. So I might have a couple of drinks on a Saturday night, but I would definitely limit it to one night a week, and I would try to drink a lot more water and eat cleaner around it, because when you drink alcohol, your body will absorb fat, saturated fat at twice the rate, so you've got even less opportunity to burn it off. So if you are going to have alcohol, you've got to eat cleaner around it, and you've got to drink more water. The other thing with alcohol is it has what's called a catabolic effect on muscle. It strips and breaks down muscle tissue, and we know that the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. And it's also bad for your joints and your ligaments, and it's quite high in sugar. So I've got a lot of niggles and injuries over the years. If I had, say, 4 glasses of Shiraz tonight, then I know my elbows and my shoulders will be more painful tomorrow, and that's from all the sugar. The sugar is, I mean, sugar is the worst thing. Essentially, sugar is what ages us, because it increases inflammation in our body, and inflammation of cells is what makes us older at the end of the day. So we didn't really cover sugar exactly, but sugar is like death. That is the one thing that, because, oh, can I balance this down a little bit? Yeah, that may a little bit, but sugar you really got to cut down as much as you can. So if you are having alcohol, you'd be better off having a much lower sugar drink, like you know, like a vodka with fresh lime, something like that. Yeah.
In saying that though, I mean, the challenge really is about how much you want to get out of it. Like if on the weekends, you know, there's after work drinks every single Friday, and you're like, oh, I'm going to allow myself this after work drink every single Friday, obviously your results won't be as great as if you weren't doing it every Friday. So it really is up to you. And I mean, I know there's been people who've had like work functions and things, and they've had a glass of wine here and there. It's not going to make or break it. It's when you're doing it every single week that it is going to start having an effect on your body. So just choose your times wisely. Don't do it every weekend. And challenge yourself. Make this a bit of a challenge. It is a challenge after all, 12 weeks. of committing to something, why not go, okay, 12 weeks, I'm going to try and reduce my alcohol, I'm going to try and cut out my alcohol. Something like that where, you know, it's your personal project, it's your personal challenge. So think about it in that way as well.
So it's all relative. If you drink 3 times a week, then try and see if you can drink once a week. If you already just drink once a week, then try and see if you can drink a cleaner drink once a week.
And it's amazing how you feel when you do cut it out. Like, amazing. You have so much more energy, you're not as bloated, you don't hold in as much water.
You get deeper sleep. You only sleep very light, but you think that you're sleeping deep on alcohol, but you don't. Any other questions? So we're going to do the photos now. For the photos, we do them on weeks 1, 6, 9 and 12. The photos are essentially what the whole challenge rotates around. I can't suggest any customisation to you if I don't see your photos and how they progress. So in particular, the photos on weeks 6 and 9 are so important. They're the most important ones. In every round we get people who, you know, they may not be that great week 6 or week 9, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and I see their photos and I'll give them a bit of advice on what to do and how to tweak it, and then, you know, those people just smash it. In my week 12, they're like in the top 5. So if I don't see those photos on week 6 and week 9, I can't give you that quality kind of advice. Okay? But if I see your photos week 1, 6 and 9, then I can. You absolutely have to ask me after the photos. You've got to make sure that I go over the photos with you as well. Because if you take the photos and you don't go over them with me, then there's no point in...
So we follow you up, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, are we in the gym every day, 7 days a week?
No, 4 days.
4 days, and it's it can be any 4 days, or it's just we're designed
Any 4 days
to have a
you
rest
want.
day?
Yeah.
Not
As long as you get those 4 days done,
Okay.
whatever fits into your lifestyle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I just ask one last question about the subs? Are they like to have with your water, like the first 2, the super amino and the expand, or how much do you have, or?
How much water do you have?
No, how much? So where are the super amino and the expand? Where does that fit into like our meal planner? When do we
So
have
it fits into your breakfast along there. That's your breakfast row.
And where's the
Yeah.
expand?
That's a pre-workout.
So the expand is your workout. Yeah, you have that.
So you put that with your water and you have that while you're training.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And how much do you have?
The expand, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll say it on there.
Oh, quality instructions on the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So just to reiterate on the photos, before we finish up, they're the most important things. You've got to get your photos done, and you've got to make sure you talk to me about the photos. Okay? Because it will take literally 1 minute for me to look at your photos to work out if you've been doing this, if you've been doing that, if you've been lifting heavy. I can always tell how hard someone's been training their legs by looking at their photos. I can always tell how good someone's technique was by looking at their back photos. So if you're talking through this section, you've missed out on probably the most important thing. They're still talking, so they haven't heard, doesn't matter. All right, that's it, Gail. So those that need to go first, first to the room, get your photos done, and remember, get the subs done, and we're going to order more on Tuesday regardless of what is in and what's not. Thank you very much.